I've had this recurring dream for years now, and it's one of those dreams that doesn't fade when you wake up. It sticks with you and it wakes you up and your heart is racing. In that dream, I'm riding in a school bus and it's lost control. It's going incredibly fast. Think like the movie Speed, but it's a school bus. And instead of being on a highway, it's in my hometown. And the bus is racing up this steep, grassy hill. And I'm holding on to the seat that's in front of me with everything I've got. My fingernails are literally digging into the seat. As the bus goes up the hill, I start to feel it lose control and it's going over backwards. And I realize I can't hold on any longer. This is going to be painful. And like my feet are behind me. They're up in the air. I'm still holding on. And right as I'm about to lose grip, I wake up. Well, hi, I'm James, and you're listening to the Leadership in 5 podcast. And that is a scary feeling to be in, that out of control. And here's something that I've been seeing in companies that are going through this. There are some that are right now dealing with that feeling of it's moving faster than we know how to handle. Something causes that business to accelerate. It could be a couple of big new clients. It could be a huge new opportunity that you can't say no to. It might be a new competitor that's actually gone out of business, closed, or whatever. And now you're suddenly flooded with new customers. And as a result, you're noticing the benefits of that. Revenue is climbing. You love that. And you see a bunch of new opportunities in front of you. And from the outside, it looks very successful. But inside, those of you that are the closest to it, you're realizing something else is happening. You're seeing it in a way that kind of concerns you because you have leaders that are starting to hold on to things more tightly. There's more things to protect, more things to manage, more things that can go wrong. And what made companies like this successful in their early years, where leaders were involved in everything and touching every decision, staying close to the details, that's now the thing that gets in the way, and it's making the business harder to control. That's that runaway bus moment or that runaway train moment. And I've used that dream analogy with clients who were exactly in that place, and they'll nod and they'll say, James, that's exactly what it feels like, because they're holding on to all the big decisions and the responsibilities instead of sharing them. And holding on to problems like that, it makes you lose sleep. It's exhausting and it's impossible to hold on to a runaway business for a long time. At some point, the only way forward isn't gripping tighter. You transfer ownership in a wider way. See, transferring ownership in a way that allows more people to carry responsibility, more people doing it at the same time. Because when ownership stays concentrated, that increase in speed then becomes very dangerous. However, when ownership spreads and more people are handling it, that speed becomes a lot more manageable. I've worked with several companies where they had to learn how to transfer ownership well, not because things were completely out of control, but because things were moving too fast and too fast to manage their old way. And once that transfer started to happen for them, then things changed in the way the business was moving. You could feel it when you walked in the door. It didn't feel like chaos any longer. People weren't in panic mode. There wasn't this desperation feel that just lingered in meetings and rooms. It was replaced more with optimism and energy, even enthusiasm. Now, here's something interesting that stood out to me in businesses where we're doing this. It doesn't necessarily mean there are fewer requests coming to you. It just means there's a lot better ones coming. I've heard people say, we need more time so we can finish this right. Or I need another set of hands so we can move this thing forward. Or our team and your team, we need to be on the same page so we don't lose speed. See, that's what ownership sounds like when it spreads. That's the transferable ownership. So if your business feels like it's moving faster than you can comfortably hold, if you feel like you're gripping tighter than you used to be just to keep things moving, you may not have a speed problem. It may be because ownership hasn't been transferred far enough, wide enough, or clearly enough to keep the train on the rails at the speed that you're now running. And the leaders who figure that out early, before the wheels come off, they're the ones who keep their momentum without losing control. They have done as much as they can to protect people from burnout, as well as protected the business from the risks that come with growing too fast. And that's when business owners can rest well, knowing that's how they left it better.